Something we like to do as an organization or as organizational leaders is to guess at what our sales process actually looks like. We don't think like it. This isn't something that we intentionally guess at. But when we talk about sales cycle, it's almost always an estimate. And this is a problem because what happens is that time flies, especially as you get older, time flies more and more and more. So if it's constantly flying by, our perception of how long things take gets skewed. So what we want to do in order to be effective in how it is that we handle our sales process and understanding it and understanding the data that supports it is when you close a deal, look at the original message, look at or whatever that was, if it was a cold call, if it was an email, whatever, look at the original message, and then what you want to do is look at when you had a meeting, when you had your first introduction with the prospect, to when they actually signed the deal and closed it through payment. That is your sales cycle, and it will probably be surprising. So what you want to do, though, is if you want to improve on those things, if you want to start saying, well, our sales cycle is 6 months. Let's say you guess it's 6 months. And you start tracking this data, and you find it's actually 9 months. Then what you can do is you can start to say, within these steps that we took, where are there efficiencies, where are there opportunities in order to shorten that sales cycle to get down to 6 months. Because what I'm guessing will happen is you'll see that, oh, look at this. We had this event happen. We had a meeting. And in that meeting, we agreed to this as the next step. And we were going to send them a follow-up. And it took us 5 days for us to send that follow-up on that meeting that we agreed to. Well, what happens if we shorten that to 3 days or 2 days? And what if we improve our call to action on those 3 days or 2 days as far as scheduling next meeting? What happens in the first meeting if one of the things that we focus on in our sales funnel is to get to the next meeting? What if we tried to schedule that next meeting inside of the first meeting? What happens if we record the meeting? Does that mean that we have less need to go back and clarify things because we recorded that first meeting? Can we shorten the sales cycle? But the only way that we know if we can shorten the sales cycle is by knowing with certainty what that sales cycle is. So let's spend less time on guesswork and more time on using data to drive our decisions and drive our improvements where we have the biggest gap. You might as well pick the low-hanging fruit.